lies a chilling and tragic legend that looms over the quiet streets of Frederica, Delaware. The story begins on a cold, moonless Halloween night when a woman, 42 years old, hanging herself from a tree along a busy road, the image of her lifeless body swaying in the wind, became etched into the memories of those who passed by. But this was only the beginning of a much darker tale. As the years went on, whispers began to spread. People who drove down that road at night started to report seeing something unnatural hanging from the tree. Some said it was her, a ghostly figure, suspended by an invisible noose, swaying with the breeze. Others claimed they saw her moving, her ghostly silhouette twisting in agony, a warning to anyone who dared to approach. On Halloween night, when the veil between worlds is at its thinnest, the apparition is said to appear more clearly than ever. Her eyes, vacant and empty, are said to follow anyone who passes. Drivers claim the air grows colder, and a sense of dread overwhelms them as they approach the tree. The Hanging Man of Halloween is not just a ghost. It's a malevolent spirit, waiting for the right moment to claim someone else. And that moment might be closer than you think.
Late one stormy night, a teenage babysitter named Sarah sat alone in the darkened house, listening to the quiet breaths of the children sleeping upstairs. The air was thick with silence, only broken by occasional creaks echoing through the empty hallways. Suddenly, the phone rang, slicing through the silence like a knife. She jumped, her heart pounding as she answered. A low, gravelly voice whispered, "Have you checked the children?" Startled, Sarah shook off the unease, assuming it was a prank call. But the phone rang again, the same voice repeating, chillingly deliberate, "Have you checked the children?" An icy dread seeped into her bones. She slammed the phone down, but the relentless calls persisted, each one taunting her, each one making her feel more trapped, more exposed. Finally, she dialed the police, and they promised to trace the next call. Moments later, the phone rang. She picked up, and the whisper came again, "Check the children." The line clicked. Then the police came through urgently. "Get out of the house. The call is coming from inside." A scream caught in her throat as she bolted for the door, but a shadow loomed at the top of the stairs, watching. In that moment, Sarah realized she wasn't alone. The door creaked open just an inch, her only escape blocked by the flickering figure that descended, step by slow, ominous step. expanse of Bodmin Moor in Cornwall, a chilling legend stalks the night. The Beast of Bodmin Moor. This spectral creature, resembling a panther or leopard, has haunted the moorland since 1978, leaving a trail of terror and grisly evidence in its wake. It began with whispers of a shadowy figure lurking near the livestock, eyes like embers piercing the darkness. Farmers awoke to a nightmare of mutilated sheep and cattle, their bodies torn apart by something with terrifying strength and unrelenting savagery. The locals spoke of massive, feline-like paw prints left imprinted in the damp earth, too large for any known cat and too menacing to ignore. The Beast of Bodmin Moor, as it became known, moved with eerie silence, slipping through the mist and granite tors like a ghost, stalking unseen yet ever present. Its black coat blended seamlessly with the night, making it nothing more than a flicker of movement in the moonlight. A glimpse, a shiver, then gone. Those unfortunate enough to encounter it described a low, guttural growl echoing through the stillness, a sound that lingered long after the beast had vanished into the shadows. Hunters and cryptid enthusiasts scoured the moor, hoping to glimpse the phantom cat, but the beast eluded them all, leaving only fleeting traces, a tuft of dark fur, claw marks in the trees, the overpowering stench of something primal. Some believe the Beast of Bodmin Moor is still there, prowling, watching, a creature of legend and nightmare. And on misty nights, when the fog settles thick over the moor, the locals swear they can still hear it. A heavy, predatory silence, waiting just out of sight. In the dense, eerie woods of Robertson County, Tennessee, the haunting legend of the Bell Witch continues to send chills down the spines of locals. The story began in 1817, when farmer John Bell Sr. and his family became targets of an unseen, malevolent force that seemed born of pure malice. They called it the Witch, and soon the whole town would tremble at her name. The haunting began with strange knocks and scratches echoing through the walls of the Bell home, sounds that grew louder, angrier with each passing night. Shadows twisted on the walls as if mocking the family, and disembodied whispers called out their names, echoing in the pitch-black darkness. But this was no mere ghostly nuisance. The Bell Witch possessed a terrifying intelligence. She could speak, cackling threats in a chilling voice, promising that her revenge was only beginning. The witch delighted in tormenting the Bell children, pulling their hair, pinching them, even slapping them with invisible hands. The air around the farm became thick and oppressive, as though her very presence suffocated life itself. She claimed she had a personal vendetta against John Bell and vowed to destroy him, leaving him sleepless and frail, his mind haunted by her endless taunts. Neighbours and townsfolk witnessed the witch's powers firsthand. Objects moved on their own, and her voice filled the air, sometimes screaming, sometimes laughing with a twisted joy. She could appear in any form she wished, a shapeshifter of pure darkness. In 1821, John Bell was found dead, his face twisted in horror, and a vial of strange, black liquid beside him. The witch claimed victory, declaring that she had poisoned him. Her laughter echoed through the empty halls of the Bell home, a final warning to any who might doubt her power. To this day, the spirit of the Bell Witch is said to haunt the land, her wrathful spirit lingering, waiting in silence for her next victim. In darkened rooms, with only the flicker of a candle's light, the chilling legend of Bloody Mary comes to life. This haunting spirit, shrouded in mystery and dread, is said to appear in mirrors, summoned by those brave or foolish enough to speak her name. The ritual is simple, yet terrifying. Stand before a mirror, stare into your own reflection, and chant, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Legend warns that calling her name unlocks a portal, a thin veil between our world and hers. As you chant, the room grows colder, the air thickening as if her presence fills every corner, lurking just beyond your vision. Those who have dared to call her say that shadows begin to twist, the flickering candlelight dimming as though something unnatural is drawing it in. And then, through the glass, she appears. A gaunt, hollow-eyed figure with a blood-streaked face, staring back with an expression twisted by agony, rage, or a cruel, mocking smile. Witnesses describe her as a vision of torment. Her long, tangled hair framing a face pale as bone, her eyes glinting with dark intentions. Sometimes she reaches out, her fingers clawing from behind the glass, leaving bloody smears across the mirror's surface. Others claim she whispers secrets of the future, a voice soft and chilling, or even laughs, a sound so cold it chills the blood. But beware, Bloody Mary is said to hold the power to curse, to haunt, or to pull the unwary into her ghostly world. Many believe that once you call upon her, she lingers, an invisible presence following you, waiting in the shadows. And so when night falls and the mirror reflects only darkness, think twice before speaking her name, for Bloody Mary is always listening, waiting for her next victim. In the eerie, silent halls of Raynham Hall in Norfolk, England, a chilling figure is said to linger. The Brown Lady, a ghostly apparition clad in a faded brown gown. She drifts through the darkened corridors, her presence felt in the sudden chill that fills the room, a sensation so bone deep it leaves an icy imprint on the soul of anyone who crosses her path. For centuries, tales of her restless spirit have haunted Raynham Hall, each story more spine-chilling than the last. The Brown Lady is believed to be Lady Dorothy Walpole, whose tragic end left her spirit bound to the hall. The story goes that she was locked away by her jealous husband, condemned to spend her days alone, and she eventually succumbed to despair and illness, her life extinguished within those very walls. Now her tormented soul lingers, forever roaming the home she could never leave in life. Witnesses describe her appearance as both beautiful and terrifying. She glides through the halls with an ethereal grace, her hollow eyes sunken and empty, her face twisted in a mournful expression. It is said, her eyes are nothing but dark voids, empty of life, drawing those who meet her gaze into an endless sorrow. Her brown dress, old-fashioned and tattered, seems almost to meld with the shadows, making her a faint, flickering figure who vanishes as suddenly as she appears. One of the most infamous sightings occurred in 1936, when photographers from Country Life magazine captured a hazy, spectral figure descending the grand staircase. The photograph, grainy and eerie, shows her drifting down the stairs, her form nearly translucent yet unmistakable. This image became one of the most well-known ghost photographs in history, cementing the Brown Lady's terrifying legend. Visitors and staff at Raynham Hall still report encounters with her cold, haunting presence. Doors creak open without reason, and the echoes of footsteps are heard when no one is there. Some say that late at night, a faint figure can be seen moving slowly down the staircase, her shadowy form slipping away before she reaches the bottom, as if forever trapped in a sorrowful descent. The legend of the Brown Lady endures, a chilling reminder of loss and entrapment. Those who dare to visit Raynham Hall are warned to be vigilant, for a glimpse of her ghostly form is enough to haunt them for a lifetime. In the fog-laden town of Exeter, Rhode Island, the terrifying tale of Mercy Brown still lingers, casting shadows over history. In the winter of 1892, young Mercy died from a brutal case of tuberculosis, then known as consumption. But even death couldn't silence her story. Not long after her burial, rumours spread like wildfire. Her family too was falling mysteriously ill, wasting away as though something sinister was siphoning the life from them. Driven by fear, townsfolk began to suspect that Mercy was no ordinary victim of disease. They whispered that she had returned from the grave as a vampire, a malevolent spirit consuming her family's life essence from beyond. Desperate to end the curse, they resolved to perform a grim ritual, exhuming her body from the frozen ground. When they opened her coffin, they found her shockingly well preserved.
grown, and her heart still containing fresh blood. Panic gripped them. They believed she was feeding, her undead spirit reaching from the grave. In a macabre attempt to end her hold over the living, they cut out her heart and liver, burning them to ash in a desperate ritual meant to destroy her lingering influence. The ashes were mixed into a tonic and given to her ailing brother, in hopes that drinking it would break the deadly connection Mercy held over him. But some say that Mercy's spirit did not rest after this ritual. Locals claim to see her figure drifting through the cemetery at dusk, her pale face visible in the moonlight, watching silently as if waiting for her next victim. Others report a suffocating chill in the air near her grave, an unnatural cold that wraps around them like icy hands. Even today, Mercy Brown's grave remains, a chilling reminder of superstition and desperation. Visitors say that if you stand near her grave at night, you can feel her presence, an overwhelming sense of sorrow and vengeance, a ghostly whisper from a past that refuses to be buried. Her legend endures as a reminder of how fear and folklore can reach out from the grave, grasping at the living with cold, relentless hands.
In the murky depths of the Pacific coast, beneath waves that hide countless mysteries, lurks a creature known to locals as Cadborosaurus, or simply Caddy. Tales of this monstrous sea serpent have haunted the people of British Columbia for generations. Dark, fearsome, and elusive, Caddy is said to dwell in the cold, shadowy waters of Cadboro Bay, emerging only when least expected to send shivers down the spines of those who dare venture too close. Those who claim to have seen Caddy describe it as a long, sinuous beast, its body twisting and coiling through the water with terrifying grace. Its head, reptilian and cold, rises silently from the waves, eyes glinting with a predatory intelligence, as if sizing up its next victim. The creature's mouth, lined with razor-sharp teeth, opens in a silent scream, promising a swift end to anything that crosses its path. Witnesses say that, at night, its scales reflect a ghostly shimmer, a faint glow that disappears as quickly as it appears, swallowed up by the ocean's darkness. Fishermen have reported feeling an eerie stillness in the water, and a natural quiet that settles before Caddy surfaces. Boats have been found mysteriously overturned, nets shredded and equipment destroyed. Some swear they've seen bodies, mangled and broken, washed ashore. Victims, they believe, of this ancient, merciless predator. Legends say that Caddy is as old as the ocean itself, a survivor from a forgotten age, hungry and restless in its eternal watch. And if you ever find yourself alone on the waters of Cadboro Bay, be wary. You might just glimpse a shadow beneath your boat. Feel the icy chill of something massive brushing against you from below. But remember, if you see Caddy, it's already too late. mountainous nights of the Caribbean, a shadow stalks the land, a creature known only as the chupacabra. The name goat sucker strikes fear into the hearts of those who whisper its legend. It is a nightmare made flesh, a thing that slinks through the underbrush, its glowing eyes reflecting the terror of the helpless creatures it hunts. First seen in Puerto Rico, the chupacabra is no mere animal. It is a monstrous, nightmarish predator with a hunger that cannot be quenched. Descriptions vary. Some say it has the spiny reptilian back of a creature from the depths of hell. Others speak of a beast with fangs like razors and claws like daggers. But one thing is certain: the chupacabra is a bloodthirsty killer. Livestock, especially goats, are its favored prey. In the dead of night, it strikes without warning. The victim is drained of its blood. The lifeless body left behind is a grim warning to anyone foolish enough to venture too close. The chupacabra doesn't leave a trace, only a chilling, inexplicable silence in the air, and the unmistakable scent of death. To those who have encountered it, the terror is real, and once you know its name, you can never escape its haunting presence. In the dead of night, under the oppressive weight of the full moon, a sinister pastime thrives in the quiet corners of rural farms. A cruel, twisted game known as cow tipping. The legend speaks of young thrill seekers who, driven by a strange, dark hunger, stalk the unwitting cows as they sleep soundly in the fields. The cows, standing on their hooves, are completely unaware of the danger creeping toward them. Silently, the tipper approaches, each step measured, watchful, unseen force that waits. Others say that the cows, though silent, are not as innocent as they appear. They have their own dark secrets, secrets they whisper to the night, seeking vengeance on those who dared disturb their rest. And once the game is played, there's no turning back. In the shadowy corners of Staten Island, a name whispers through the night. Cropsey, once a harmless tale to keep children in line, it has grown into a nightmare that stains the very land. Parents warn their kids, stay close, or Cropsey will come for you. But no one truly understood the horror that lay behind the legend. Cropsey was a boogeyman of the darkest kind, a figure cloaked in rags, with wild eyes and a twisted, deformed face. He lurked in the woods, waiting for vulnerable children to wander too far from safety. Those who ventured too deep into the dark forest never returned. Their screams vanished in the wind, leaving only silence in their wake. The legend didn't stop there. As the years passed, Cropsey became something far more real, an embodiment of true terror. In the 1970s and 80s, a man named Andre Rand emerged from the shadows, a twisted figure who matched the horrors of the folklore. Convicted of kidnapping and terrorizing children, Rand was the real-life Cropsey. The monstrous figure in the legend was no longer just a story. It was flesh and blood, roaming the streets of Staten Island, snatching children one by one. Cropsey may still walk among us, his twisted presence forever haunting the streets where innocence once lived. And for those who strayed too far into the night, the darkness may still claim them, silent and hungry. Doveland, Wisconsin. If you ask around, some still swear it exists, or once did, but there's no trace of it now. This haunting urban legend tells the chilling story of a town that vanished from the face of the earth without a single sleepy town nestled in the heart of Wisconsin, or so people believed. But as the years wore on, something twisted and unnatural began to happen. People who remembered living there, families, old-timers, even children, suddenly found themselves unable to locate the town on any map. And worse, no one else seemed to recall it ever existing at all. Some claim that Dublin was consumed by something darker, a malevolent force that swept the town away in the dead of night. Those few who still speak of it describe shadows that crept through the streets, strange figures that appeared in the corners of their vision, and an overwhelming sense of dread that permeated the air. Then, just like that, the town was gone. Its buildings, its streets, its people, all erased. Even stranger, a few brave souls who set out to find Dublin say they've seen it, standing there as if frozen in time, yet no one else can see it. They describe an eerie stillness, a ghostly reflection of a town trapped between worlds, as if Dublin had been swallowed whole by some dark void, its very existence erased from reality itself. Some say Dublin isn't gone at all. It's just waiting. And if you're unlucky enough